Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah, and man, it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video, mainly because I've been getting everything situated for the next project car, which we're going to be showing shortly. And yeah, we are coming near the end of the project car series, and we're going to kind of stick to getting our channel's cars up and running right, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them in the future. But we're going to introduce this new project car, which is actually an old project car, if you guys remember Mad Mike. So we originally went to his house and took out the engine for his red car, supposed to build it and then bring it back, get it running, so on and so forth. Well, plans have definitely changed. Mad Mike has actually picked up a car that he always wanted. He had one in the past, but he always wanted a Fiji Blue, and he actually found one for an amazing price. So the engine that we pulled out is actually going to go into that one, and he's going to be using that car as his main car. So we actually went to his house and picked it up with a truck and trailer and brought it back, and this is what we have here. So we're going to dive in and see what's what. 88 Conquest SHP. We're going to be pulling out this original motor, and we're going to put in the sportier motor. So gonna rip this apart and we'll be back. Okay, I'd say a little bit more than halfway done. Gotta disconnect the transmission and disconnect the motor mounts. I'm gonna cut this downpipe. I probably recommend getting another downpipe and possibly a better turbo anyway, but yep, let's see what we get. Okay, so last couple of things I gotta do. Disconnect everything over here electric wise, which is already done. I have to disconnect the fuel, disconnect the motor mounts, transmission mounts, and then I got to disconnect the ground that's on the block, and let's see, disconnect the starter or have the starter hang, either one. Heater core hoses right back there. I'm sure I missed some stuff, but I disconnected the oil pressure and sending unit knock sensor setup over here. Power steering disconnected. All of that good stuff disconnected. AC disconnected. Radiator out. Yeah, throttle cable out. Got a couple more things, but yeah, this engine should be coming out soon. We're also going to take off the hood. So that's coming out. And yeah, we should be good to go. So now that the motor has been completely removed, that motor ended up being junk. I think I had a hole in the head, which is weird. Jet valve problems. Anyway, so now we moved it inside, so now we can really get kicking on it. We have to put together the motor, which is right there, and found out that rats were chewing up the wires. I looked at this before we actually picked up the car from Mike, and yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. But before we do, it didn't get any of the lower wires, which is great. For some reason, it's stuck to over here. So there's that headache we'll get into a little bit later. But we're going to start removing more stuff. From what I understand, we're not going to be using any AC components. So condenser and hoses and a couple other things are going to be removed. Then as far as intercooler, we're going to be using that bad boy there. We're going to be doing exhaust. A couple of other things. Still need some intercooler piping. Nothing too crazy. But that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to start removing everything we don't need or not going to use, and then take it from there. But before I do that, I have to get all of this stuff out of the way. So let me organize this garage up a little bit and we'll begin. Okay, so taking out this header panel and took this guy off. Looks like the rats got to that too, so that's not connected. And I didn't take the other side off yet, but we're gonna see what's going on in just a second. Alrighty, as soon as we get this out, it's probably stuck up under here, no big deal. Oh, there we go. Clips, petrified, pop right out, of course, pretty normal. Alright, and yeah. We gotta look in here to make sure the rats didn't get the, oh, it looks like they got the headlight motor. I'm gonna double check, get some light on it. No, looks good. Let's see. So the rat got them wires there. Okay. Everything else looks pretty decent. Oh, we got a bag. Let's check this side to see if it got the wires for this guy. Yes, it did. Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, continuing on, gonna take off the header panel and take it from there. So we have bolt right here, bolt right here, 4 bolts up top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 on the other side. And yeah, let's keep it going. Okay, header panel is off. Okay, so this is not a factory unit. I don't know who put this on here or what it is. Okay, microprocessor. So anyway, we're gonna take this off. We're gonna take this off. This is a vacuum pump keeper type of deal. We're gonna remove this guy. Seems to be stuck, but see if we can get that out of there. Oh, okay, it's in the fog light. I wonder why. Well, good thing we're not using this intercooler piping anymore. Take a look at this. That is no bueno. So that's coming off. Intercooler's coming off. We're gonna move the oil cooler out of the way. We're gonna keep the fan. We're gonna get rid of the AC stuff here. Gonna move this out the way, getting rid of that. And yeah, we should be good to go. All right, getting down to the good part. All right, so we disconnected the receiver dryer there. We got this part disconnected, hood latch disconnected, one of the screws to the outside fan disconnected. And what I'm gonna try to do is remove the intercooler, remove the AC condenser next, including the fan, and we should be good to go. Okay, intercooler out. There was like a little nest of stuff on the back here, and you could see it all down here and everything. So this needs to be shop vacked out, which I will do. Okay, a couple of bolts and that bad boy is out, including the oil cooler, which is making a mess on my floor. AC condenser right there. There's still a lot more to go, of course. We got to take these lines out, which run all the way over there. We have to take the upper lines off. We're going to take the heat shield off. We're going to take the vacuum keeper canister off. We're going to take this charcoal canister out. There's still a lot more to go. So let's keep it going. There we go, making mad progress. Okay, so we got the AC line out from the firewall, including the upper one that goes over. All right, and we got the heat shield out of the way, which of course, you know, can be reinstalled given the case and situation, but currently we do not need that. Also, we're gonna start taking this canister stuff out right now, and I believe that should be it, I wanna say. But yeah, I'm gonna go through the car and make sure everything is out that we don't need. Actually, almost forgot about this guy, the vacuum line that goes to the air tank. This is gonna get removed. Up, the rat already removed it for us. Pros and cons. Alrighty, take this guy out of here. Oh, forgot about the coupler. But yep, take all of this stuff off and simplify a little bit of the vacuum. And yeah, we should be good. Okay, so, excuse the noise in the background. It's a little hot in here. But let me get the light in a better position. There we go. Okay, so when removing the charcoal canister, you leave this tube right here to vent. Now, doesn't cause any problems or anything like that, but the gas tank will breathe. So if you go to pop the gas cap, it doesn't suck the gas tank flat because this is clogged. So works out pretty good. And as you can see, the wires are pretty badly eaten. This one, which used to go to the cruise control, and then this one, which used to go to the MAF. Yeah, cruise control we might be able to do without, but yeah, the MAF we're definitely gonna need. Let's see here. We got no 8 wires here except one. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go through all of that. Go through all of this. Jesus. And then down here, even more. And then even more over here to these relays. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Got a light so you guys can see that. Yep, that's not good. Okay, it's gonna be fun. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna see if the owner wants to keep the cruise control, and we'll kind of take it from there. So yeah, we're gonna keep on trucking, and we'll be back shortly. And on another note, this fuel filter is going to have to be changed, and then the fuel lines are going to have to get flushed out separate from the gas tank. The gas tank needs to be cleaned out on its own. And yeah, stock Mitsubishi coil, everything looks pretty decent over here. This went to that black box, which apparently is a radar detector. Definitely obsolete, so that's going to get removed. And yep, heater core doesn't look too happy. Thank goodness we're not using that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, okay. Yep, looking pretty good. Okay, I just got off the phone with Mad Mike, and he said take that cruise control stuff out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and detach it right there and everything, and then later we'll disconnect it from the gas pedal. So right now we'll have this hanging off to the side so it doesn't get damaged or it's not in the way of anything. And then heck yeah, we'll take it from there. So 210s, couple brackets in the back, and that's it. Okay, we are back. Okay, so these pistons, be gentle, don't slap it around. All right, these pistons are labeled for each cylinder. All right, so one starts from the timing cover, so on and so forth. and I just have to clean it out. It's been sitting for a bit. So yeah, we're gonna clean this out and we're gonna start assembling. So I'm gonna put all of these aside. They're already numbered, so no big deal. We got fresh bearings. We have everything right there. So yep, we're gonna start assembling. All right, here's the business end of things. We are going to take off all of the caps and the studs. We're also going to put in the piston squirters or piston coolers, and drop in the crank with the new bearings. And well, of course we got to clean everything, but yeah, so we're gonna knock it out. We got the piston squirters from Dad, of course, always coming in clutch. Definitely appreciate his services. So we're gonna put those in with the copper rings to make sure they seal properly, and we should be good to go there. So let's get to it. Okay, so these are the piston squirters for 1 and 3, and then 2 and 4. These actually do aim in different directions, so you have to make sure you don't mix them up. Now, one thing I am noticing that I'm missing is the copper crush washers for these. So I'm gonna go to the store and pick some up. Okay, it got a little toasty in here again. Took out the main caps. All right, so we got the piston coolers in with new copper washers. Okay, those are the crush type, not the standard type. So now I'm gonna torque those down and we should be good to go. Okay, we got some new old stock seal power. These are excellent. Part numbers and whatnot right there. Oh, let me turn it so you guys can see it better. There we go. These are aluminum. The last of the part number is AL, which stands for aluminum. And kind of is what it is. It's better to get tri-metal, but I don't believe they make it for these engines anymore. So we got to use what we can get and take it from there. But for the rods, I do have tri-metal bearings. It's also new old stock. We'll get to it when we get to it. But anyway, so on your shells, you want to make sure the solid side is on the caps, not like this. So this is incorrect. You want this down here. So I'm just showing you guys how not to do it. This is not how you put it in. Now, for the center, these are the same both sides, so that doesn't matter. So you'll be good to go. But you want to make sure you take these out. And these are standard shells, not oversized. So these come out perfect. Alrighty. And then basically what you're gonna do is make sure both sides are clean, and you wanna insert the locking side down on the proper side. So line it up, bring it down slow. There you go, make sure it's even. All right, good. Next one. All right, doing this with one hand. This is how you can tell you've done this for too long. All right, make sure that's in both sides. Next one. All right, slide that in both sides, make sure it's even. Okay. You can feel from each corner. It's supposed to be dead flush. If it grabs your skin, no good. So anyway, so yeah, we're gonna put this in. Make sure they're in perfectly. All right, so boom, that's the way it goes. And the center shell, like I was saying, is the same both sides, has a thrush washer built in, so no need to look for that or anything. It's already built in, good to go. And boom, so oil flow is gonna come from the block area for these guys. And then it's gonna rotate off the bottom shells, which are gonna go on the main caps. And you can see it lets the oil in this way. So, yep, that's the way it goes. Make sure you guys do this the proper way. Do not do it the opposite. Okay, so from here, you make sure your shells are clean, and then you're gonna use some assembly lube. I like to use this one. And you're gonna put a healthy amount. Do not use engine oil. Okay, we're talking about a brand new bearing to a crankshaft assembly. Now for drag racing purposes, that would vary, but on a factory application, you want to give it the best chance to make the best mating surface to the bearings so they don't destroy themselves. So, yep, lube them up, take it up top. Here we go, other side. There we go. All right. Take it up top, bring it down. Here we go. Other side. All right, good. Same deal here. All right, do not lubricate the backside of the bearing. It's gonna do that automatically. All right. Some people do, some people don't. Kind of best to not, so the bearings don't try to slide anywhere else. But yep, so now we're ready to lay the crankshaft down. Okay, so you pop that bad boy in, give her a couple of rotations. Now, you'll notice I did not put assembly lube on the thrust washer area, and that's because the bearing is flat. So as soon as you lay the crankshaft in there, guess where it goes? Thrust washer area. So, you know, no need, but you rotate it like this. You're gonna lubricate the thrust washer area and everything else in between, so that is perfect. So, boom, that's ready to go. Ready for caps, ARP lube, and so on and so forth. And we're gonna make sure that when we torque this down in 3 steps, and I think we're going to 80 foot-pounds on the ARPs. We'll do that in 3 steps. So probably first one will be 20, then we'll do like 50, and then 80. So, yep, do that, torque it down nice. You start from the center, work your way out. So, yep, let's put that in next. You're gonna lubricate every single bearing on the caps. Then you're gonna put them in order to the front, which is the part with the snout, and it's in order numbered. 1, arrow facing forward, 2, arrow facing forward, 3, arrow facing forward, 4, so on and so forth. You get the point. And now we're gonna use some ARP lube on the threads of the ARP studs. Pop those in and begin torquing it down. Okay. 3 steps, 3 steps. Reason being is 3 steps, a lot of people don't know, is because these caps have to snug into place. Once they're snugged into place, that's when the torque of everything is gonna sit evenly, and you wanna make sure that it still spins. If it gets stuck when these are tight, you have a problem, and you probably need a line bore hone, which is a machine that goes through the middle with the caps torqued all the way down to their proper specification and making sure this hole is perfectly straight. So, yep, ARP studs next. Okay, so ARP lube has been applied on the bottom end of the stud and the top end of the stud. So now, from here on out, you want to take a Allen key and tighten these down. Now, remember, do not torque them down, do not impact them down, don't put too much muscle into it. Twist it until it stops. That's it. Reason being is because if you torque it down or impact it down, when you go to torque the nut on top, there's a chance that this stud could bury itself into the block and possibly crack it. So to avoid the headache, twist it by hand. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get the nuts on top, and then we can begin the torque down process. All right, so these are snugged down. Everything is nice and ready to be torqued. So we're gonna torque it down. We're gonna do 30, 60, then 80. All right, and you wanna start from the inside and work your way out. Perfect. Okay, so these bad boys are torqued all the way down, 80 foot-pounds. And what you want to do is you want to make sure it spins like butter, okay? At this point here, if it doesn't spin, it's very easy, no resistance at all. Then you need to take it back apart, make sure you have the right bearing size to the crank, because these are standard. So this crank's never been cut, just polished. And then you want to make sure that if it is the proper bearing size, that you may have to get a line bore hone. So they need to take this block to the machine shop and machine it if that were the case. But this spins like butter. No complaints there. All right, so we'll get on to the rods and pistons. I'm going to show you the bearings that I'm using. That is new old stock. And we'll take it from there. Okay, these are it right here. These are the shells for the connecting rods. Now, in the part number, okay, here we go. If it has a P at the end, is usually tri-metal, okay? Now, I know these are tri-metal. These are the same bearings I have in my personal car, and these are exactly what you need because the aluminum ones are not as kind to heat and pressure, you know, from being smashed, combustion. But these tri-metals, this is exactly what the OEM had in it. So if you could find them, definitely snag you a pair. All right, so we got a used forged piston here, and that's pretty much the recipe to kick butt. Still low compression, stock rods with ARP hardware. And yep, we're gonna pop this in with the new bearings and get our spring compressor tool, pop this bad boy in. They are labeled. I don't know if you could see that, but there's a 1 there. There we go. 2, 3, and so on and so forth. But you wanna make sure your piston rings are clocked opposite of each other. So for instance, if one gap is here, the other gap is at the opposing side, boom, good to go. These piston rings are already pre-gapped, ready to rock and roll, full boost. And yep, we're gonna install these bad boys and see where it takes us. All right, so now with all of the connecting rods and pistons in, crankshaft still spins very easily. So that's perfect. A little bit more resistance because it's dragging in the cylinder, which is normal, but in general, turns very easy. So we're gonna torque these rod bolts down to 46 pounds in 2 steps. We're gonna go 20, then 40, okay? All right, the main part of the short block is complete. Now we just have to dress it up and take it from there. Okay, so put the engine on top dead center, basically piston all the way up to the top on number 1. And then you have these links that show you the position that it's in. This one's back here. And basically there's a dot for each one, so you know exactly where to put it. Pretty simple. Easiest way to do it is to count the teeth from here to the next shiny link, which should be 21. And you can have this one pointing to 12 o'clock. That is proper mechanical timing for the head and block. Then you got your oil pump, put your gasket behind there. There's 2 different kinds. The NA one, which doesn't have a pickup tube. It has an open center piece. And then the turbo version has a teardrop. Teardrop for the one with the pickup tube, the open one for the non-turbo pickup tube, and that's what we got here, non-turbo Millings oil pump here. This is their strong one. And then this one has balancer shafts eliminated. The engine's been balanced without balancer shafts, so you have the plug here, shorter chain, no balancer shaft behind this one, just a end grommet, and boom, that's it. Then you no longer need to put this in a specific position because it doesn't have balancer shafts anymore. So any way you put this on, you're good to go. and you put your chain guide here, and that's it. So now that this is all complete, we can go ahead and put on the timing cover. So first things first, you got to put on your gasket. You know, use a little bit of Indian head shellac to make sure that seals up nice, and you should be good to go. So yep, let's put that thing on there. We also put on the sandwich plate for the oil filter and this adapter piece to run a aftermarket oil feed line to the turbo, which you can normally get those from AutoZone or someplace like that that sells the gauge kit for oil pressure or fuel pressure. And this is part of the accessories that's in there. So there's that. This is all impacted on, 14 millimeter, that's tight there. All right, so let's put the timing cover on, be good to go. Okay, she is dressed up real good. Got the water pump on, gaskets, alternator on, power steering, motor mounts, crossover tube with the bolts, 10 millimeter there, 10 millimeter in the back. Tighten up the clamps, cap this off, we're not going to be using it. And I think I might use that guy for a catch can, and we might modify this oil pan for the new turbo. So anyway, what else do we got? We capped that guy off, I already said that. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. So the block is pretty much there. Only thing we have to do is put on the rear plate, rear main seal, pickup tube, oil pan. All right, I didn't show you guys the removal of these bad boys, but I will be showing you the installation. So you can basically do the installation but backwards for removal, and then we'll put it together. And these will be rebuilt, freshly powder coated, and they needed to be because these bad boys were stuck and the pads in the rear were non-existent. If you look over here, that's metal on metal. So we're gonna need some rotors, some hardware and whatnot. So yeah, we're gonna bag these up, get them rebuilt, and we'll be back with that. But until then, we're gonna continue to pop on the oil pan now that all of the goodies are here. So let's get to that. All right, it is 2026 and the day of welding bongs on the oil pans should be over. So we have a solution right here. This piece is full steel, no aluminum, so it's not going to flex with heat and all of that stuff there, which the temperatures that these engines run, it won't flex anyway. But as far as tensile strength, can't go wrong with the steel. So basically what you do is you drill a hole between your mounting holes, so you'll have access to actually bolting on the oil pan. And from here, you can actually bolt this together. It comes with the washers with the rubber O-ring, make sure nothing goes through. Loctite to make sure this doesn't back out in the oil pan from vibration, and boom, you're good to go. We got a 45-degree angle right here to go for our return line to a barb fitting, which we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so this is the solution. Let me show you how it goes on. Drill your hole, use your stepper bits, and it'll be just like that. Of course, we're going to put the washer on this side, then we'll put this through, and then we'll put the washer and Loctite on this side, tighten everything down. I'm gonna show you guys the ending result in just a bit. Of course, when you drill anything on the oil pan, you wanna make sure you clean it thoroughly, which we've already done. And there we go, on with the Loctite, nice and secure, ready to make things happen. And then next, we are going to add the 45-degree fitting, and then the oil pan will be completely done. So it's the 45, goes on like so. Alrighty. And then from there, we're boost ready. All right, so let's go ahead and put on the pickup tube and we can begin sealing this oil pan. Okay, so we are at the bottom of the block. We have our performance pump, let's just call it a performance pump, which is built off of the non-turbo application. So the non-turbo application, if you look here, it has a tube that runs all the way down to this guy. All Starion blocks have this access point. It is between cylinder 2 and 3. So if you're trying to pick up a pickup tube, you'll definitely have to order the proper one, which is 117S Millings pickup tube. Okay. I think I have a link for it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. If not, definitely just search it up via eBay or Google. It'll give you the info. And then take it from there. So we need to put that pickup tube on because the original one connects over here, and then it uses the stud, the original one, with a 12mm bolt to hold the tube. Right? We don't need that anymore. It's actually using the 2-bolt system here, which is more up to date on most applications. Let's just say in 90s applications. Anyway, so yep, when you get a rebuild kit, it comes with the gasket. So looks like this, comes in a pack like that. And yeah, usually you end up not using this, but it comes with it and fits perfectly. So we're gonna bolt that bad boy down and we'll be good to go. And then we'll be popping the oil pan on. I gotta find my silicone and we should be done. Okay, so before you lay down your pan, you get your bead ready all the way around. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put some oil in here and make sure that it pours out the other side of the block, because what's gonna happen is when you go to crank your car and it's dry, it's gonna take forever to get oil pressure. You do it this way, it gets oil pressure almost immediately. So we're gonna go ahead and do that first and then go ahead and seal up the oil pan. Okay, and just like that, the oil pan is put on there. We got the bolts for the flywheel cover there. So that part is complete. We can now turn this engine over and technically take it off the stand so we can start doing all of the flywheel components, including the plate that goes on the back. The rear main seal's already done, and basically get this short block ready to go in the transmission. Clutch, flywheel, all of that good stuff. So we're gonna take this bad boy off the stand and start doing the clutch assembly, flywheel, and all of that other good stuff. All right, so we got it on the floor. And now we're going to add on the back plate, flywheel, and clutch assembly. Of course, the flywheel bolts and all of that good stuff. And this piece, let me grab that. Okay. So this piece, oh, a little loud, goes this way. All right, and starter is located in this area. These 10mm bolts is what holds this plate on. And yep, we should be good to go from there, and then we should be able to put the flywheel on. All right, so it goes on one way, so you can't get it wrong. This engine is balanced, so on the flywheel it tells you, which way to put it on, which will be by the dowel pin. So no big deal there. Yep, I'm gonna slide this on and we will be back. Okay, so here are the flywheel and clutch we're gonna be using. We got an ACT pressure plate, 6-plug with springs disc. Of course, clean your flywheel with brake fluid or brake parts cleaner, rather. And make sure you get a hold of all of your flywheel bolts. Also, you are going to need the pilot bearing, which goes right in the middle. Okay, we got a brand new unit for that. Let me grab that. All right, got the pilot bearing right here. That's gonna go right there. We're gonna get a socket that fits the whole outer race. So we could tap this in and it'll be flush with the flywheel. Okay, so I'll be back. I'm gonna do that part and then we should be ready to put the flywheel on. All right, so flywheel is on and tight. You wanna make sure you use a 19mm socket and torque that down accordingly. I believe it's somewhere around 80 something foot-pounds. Don't quote me on that, but I use the good and tight method. Works pretty well. And yeah, you're gonna wanna make sure you do a star pattern on that so it hugs the back of the crankshaft properly. And yeah, good to go. Now, we need to install the clutch setup, which I do have the alignment tool, so that's gonna be cakewalk. There's going to be let's say 6 12mm screws that go in there. If you put this pressure plate on there and then there's a little gap between the pressure plate and the flywheel, that means that your bolts are too long and is bottoming out on the flywheel. So make sure you don't do that and you should be good to go. All right, so once you use your alignment tool, make sure all of your bolts are tightened down. Don't over torque them, they will break. But just like I was telling you, you gotta make sure that there's no gap here. So the pressure plate is actually doing its job. And then, geez, that's a tight seal. So once that's all sealed and good to go, we're ready to stab this block in. So only thing we have to do besides that is make sure our throwout bearing is good and in perfect working condition and kind of take it from there. So we'll be back. We're gonna pop this transmission in. We most likely are going to replace this throwout bearing, kind of take it from there, but I'm gonna check it and see. Okay, so upon inspection of the bearing, it actually feels really nice, but it has an initial rattle, and that is unacceptable. So since we're here, before we stab the motor in here, we're gonna go ahead and take care of the noisy throwout bearing. I mean, not noisy currently, nor was it before, but since we're here, we're gonna knock it out. So I do have to order that. We're gonna order it up and take it from there. And with that said, we're gonna call it an episode for right now. Of course, there's gonna be more to do, and we are ready to continue getting everything else done. So stay tuned, guys. There's definitely gonna be more to come. And remember, guys, knowledge is power.